Today I want to show you my new method of searching for expired domains. In the past, I've generally used expired domains when either I want more power into an existing project through a redirect, or if I've got a big new upcoming project coming up and I want to use a powerful $2,000-$3,000 expired domain in order to get a head start. So various providers out there. There's Otis Global, I'll leave my invitation link below, and there's SEO.domains. For SEO domains, I do have a 10% discount code, so I'll leave that also in the description. Now, I've already done loads of videos on expired domains. You can just search on my channel. But here I recorded a whole 40-minute tutorial on everything I do to actually go through and assess a domain. Today, I want to show you a much simpler, quicker method. But before we go on, I know what you're thinking. The latest Google update is still rolling out, and they're specifically targeting expired domains. But the fact is, Google's had a problem with expired domains for years, and they do struggle to actually do anything about it. So as usual, you should be okay if you use a sense of moderation. So use only a relevant domain and do everything you can to really make it look like that domain is the same domain it always was and there hasn't been a stark change in that time. But just as an example, I actually redirected expired domain to one of my LinkedIn Parasite pages, and initially at least it proved a really big increase in rankings and traffic. So the blue line represents referring domains. So we can see as soon as that redirect went in, I went from 3,000 visitors to 10,000 visitors. Now, there has been a steep drop-off there, partly through the update. The decline started before the update, but continued since the update. However, there does seem to be a bit of a ceiling now. It doesn't look like I'm actually falling any further. And with that, if we just look at keywords in the 1 to 3, they actually seem to be increasing in the last few days. So I had 36 keywords in the 1 to 3 on the 12th, and now I have 43. So after that steep pullback, it does seem like for the main keywords, I'm actually increasing. So this isn't conclusive, but it does seem like the expired domain has had certainly some positive benefits in terms of helping that LinkedIn Parasite article really stick on page 1. But today we're not actually talking about the effect of expired domains, but rather how to get really good ones really cheaply. So for that, I'm using SEO.domains. Generally, they are cheaper than Otis and much bigger than Otis. Now, should you still use Otis? Absolutely. I generally find the quality is better with Otis. If you're a busy business owner and you just want a great quality expired domain, then Otis is the one for you. These ones at SEO.domains still require a lot of screening, a lot of work. There are a lot more of the red flags where someone can still buy it because there's so many use cases for expired domains. If you're just building a PBN, then a lot of these domains are great. Whereas with Otis, you get more of the highest quality expired domains that you could use to actually build a website on or build a brand on. So they've done things like checking for trademarks, checking for past abuse, and spammy backlinks. Whereas I'd say most of the domains on SEO.domains do have a lot of spammy backlinks. So you do need to know what you're doing. But I'll show you how to avoid that in this video. So basically what I do at the moment, and this is all because I'm in the process of building a PBN for my private mastermind. So you can get on the list to get that at launch. First of all, go to SEOJesus.com just to sign up for the Ranking Revelations newsletter. That's absolutely free. And in the welcome email, you'll get a load of free resources. But then if we come back and scroll down here, there's a button that says membership, and that's where you can sign up for the launch of my mastermind. So I'm planning on 2 calls a month and a load of other resources. So we're going to have a limited intake. So if you fill in the form there, you'll be the first to know when that goes live. And of course, there will be some special launch pricing for the first 20 applicants. And that's a price that's never going to be repeated because we're still building off these resources. So the longer we go on, the more and more value we add to the mastermind, and therefore the price will go up. So at launch, it'll be a one-off opportunity to get the best price locked in for life. And if nothing else, you get 2 calls a month with me in a group setting. But of course, if you do have a budget, then just go to apply and you can join our Done For You service, which is fundamentally a link building service, high quality backlinks, but we also include free content and consulting, because if those aren't in there, then you're obviously missing out. The backlinks are not going to have the full effect. We only want to build backlinks that have massive effect, and therefore we include those bonuses to give you the best value. Because of that, we are quite popular. We are generally sold out most of the time, but if you fill in the form here, then you'll be the first in line. But enough of that. How are we finding these expired domains? Well, I'm just now industrializing the process of basically building out this big PBN. So my quality standards are not as high as if I were doing a redirect or building a new site. But obviously the domains still need to be good. I'm looking for really interesting opportunities. Now, Callan, who runs SEO.domains, he's a big, what's known as a drop catcher. So when these domains expire, there are already lots of eyes on them, often using software to register them as soon as they drop. So there are different services out there, and there's those different beliefs in terms of how you should do drop catching. A lot of services out there will basically use multiple different services and registrars to try and give you the best chance of actually grabbing that domain the minute it expires. But some people like Callan, they've really dug deep to go hard on this, literally to try and capture every domain that ever expires that's got any value. So Callan's got thousands of domains, and I've met him a few times at Chiang Mai. He's often struggling just to actually make full use of all of them. So, for instance, SEO.domains have a massive make an offer section. So they've got so many domains, they can't even price them all up effectively. So quite often you can find great domains that haven't even gone live yet, but you can still access them and therefore make an offer on them. We're not doing that today because I don't like the back and forth of making an offer. So what I want to do is just find the latest domains that have just been added to the database. That's because there's always a theory with these kinds of brands, whether it's Odis, SEO.domains, anyone else. There's always this theory that obviously there's always going to be someone better than you, more invested, who's probably got a team checking in daily, picking up all the gems. So quite often you can go onto this database and find an absolute dream domain. I had a consulting client a few months ago who, once I published this video, he watched it, signed up, and they had an education platform. And within minutes, he found the domain of a major government education institution. So it was a good few $1,000s, but immediately went and bought that. So you definitely do get gems like that. But there's always this theory, what are you missing out on if there are all these pros out there with teams with scaled processes who are literally checking in all the time? So for my PBN, what I've generally been doing is just going to SEO.domains and putting in added days and filtering it so I only see the latest added domains. Now you can see they add them multiple times a week. So we've got 0 days here. So these have literally just been added. And then we come down here, we've got 3 days ago. This is Monday, so we just had a weekend. 5 days ago, 6 days ago. There was a lot on 6 days ago. So as you can see, there's loads of gold being added all the time, and they will get snapped up. So I'm looking at in order of days. Quite often I will put in a DR filter. Generally, I'm not interested below DR20, so I can filter that. And then we can just go through here. So I'm basically looking at the latest added domains and their domain rating. So you can see here that some sort of Mexican magazine with a DR of 49 with loads of really good backlinks. It's $8,500, but that's because it's such a good domain. But in the meantime, I can see examples like this one, maintenanceresilience.com, DR of 29, links from 26 domains, 3 years of history as a website of an industrial economic exhibition. And that's only $200. So $200 for a DR of 89, supposedly with 26 referring domains. Now, I've not got enough information here. What I'll then do next is copy that, open it up in Ahrefs, so we can see that 29 is correct. But next, we actually want to look at the backlinks. I would say the majority of domains I look at in Ahrefs from SEO.domains do have issues. It's an immediate red flag where we've got lots of foreign backlinks, but these could be legitimate. That's not necessarily a problem. So yeah, they're talking about maintenance and resilience. So these seem kind of okay, quite a lot of subdomains. But you can see here's an example, BonusGate. That's not a valuable domain name. So they say there's 29 referring domains for this website, but one of them is this BonusGate with some spammy backlink that I don't really care about. So is that going to give me any benefit? No. And quite often you might have a domain with a really good domain rating, but then you check the actual backlinks and they've just been manipulated. This is what we do all the time with my link building agency, where it's really not difficult to manipulate DR. So if you've got an agency saying we've given you this DR60 link, then check the actual backlinks and work out where that power is coming from. So that's a big part of our screening process, going through and working out, are these links actually coming from basically proper editorial sources like blogs and things like that. So generally doing this process, I'll then go into best links, show best links only, and you can configure that however you like. But the default setting is actually pretty good, which is minimum DR 30, just as we do follow links, and they should be in content links as well. So that means the link should be in a blog post, not on a forum, in the comments or anything like that that could be spammy. So from this, we're only seeing 3 best links. But even then, if we go back, the price for maintenanceresilience.com is $200. So actually, just one of these links could well cost well more than $200. So of course, you can always open the links and check them. Are they actual news articles? So yeah, this actually looks all right. It is like an aggregator or a directory type thing, but That's a proper link in there. But what I tend to do is just add it to cart, and then I'll move on and find another one. So if we take that DR filter off, just to get more of an idea of what's out there for the purposes of this tutorial, and I'm always just flicking between the DR and the price. So Microsoft Chime, that's a really good one. Got to be careful with that because Microsoft is trademarked, so I'd be very careful about how you actually use that domain. Unfortunately, I've seen some brilliant opportunities that do have a trademark in the URL. There's this Hawaii.com, ASA Hawaii. So yeah, not very powerful, but $120. Says 14 referring domains. So arguably that's a lot more value than the $120. Got hotels. Then there's a big one, DR23, $200. Obviously it's Mexican. That may or may not be a benefit to you. So as usual, the majority of these are going to be really low DR. A lot of PBN builders, they don't really care that much about how powerful the domain is because they're just going for volume. Personally, I'd rather have a smaller PBN with much more power. A Spanish software development domain, DR of 22, $240. FN Act, 23 years of history as a website of a Federation of Civil Servants of French local authorities. So it's easy to see how I can get addicted to this. But like I say, these days I'm just trying to make a habit, probably make an SOP out of it as well. Just check in, sort by days, and see if in the last couple of days anything really good has been added. I mean, definitely counts. Just the other day, as you may well be aware, I've already got an adult PBN, lots of clients in the adult niche. Those kinds of domains do tend to be particularly valuable, certain sub-niches where links are impossible to get. And I was able to pick up a really good domain in that niche, DR30, for a couple of $100. So I doubt that domain would have stuck around very long. So just checking in regularly. I don't go too hard on it. I'm not looking to spend a lot of money, but if there's a gem there, then it's worth paying attention to.